Chiefs, which is usually their dads, talking to them on the radio, and see Steve Gilligan down in front of me. He's talking to Tyler on the radio. But mate, how good is this for these kids to come through? All of these kids have come out of the junior ranks. They're stepped up into this F4 category, and it's a good, fast, close, competitive but safe form of racing. And anyone would be happy to put their kids in one of these boats. You just can't do anything wrong in them, you know. Even if one does fall over, they're in a cockpit. It's got, 8,000 Newton meters of force in the cockpit cell. No one's getting hurt in these things, and it's just a great, great form of racing. Love it.
As you said, the next step up out of the little J3s, up into a 60 horsepower Mercury racing engine, pretty much untouched. Not allowed to muck around with anything internally on those engines. How do we go as far as props? Is there a standard prop, or there's a free rein?
No, mate, it's free rein. So that's one of the things about setting up any boat is that, this category really, it obviously comes down to driver, but it also comes down to propeller and engine height. Balance of the boat, okay, so weight distribution. All these boats have to run to a certain weight, but you can put the weight where you want. So a lot of them will run lead bags in them, so the boat will actually weigh underweight, and then they add weight to them, but they can add the weight to where they want it. On a rough day, you might put the weight in the front of the boat. On a smooth day, you might put the weight to the rear of the boat, or you might even just even it out and have it around the midships as well. You can adjust, things like fuel tanks are movable, batteries are movable, so you can actually slide them and get that COG where you want it. So that's what it's all about. It's critical, and these kids are learning all this stuff while they're out there racing. I mean, it's, get off the bloody Xbox is what I say. Get your kids out doing this stuff. It's fantastic.
And after the initial purchase of the boat and the motor,
costs you nothing.
It's economical, isn't it, as
mate,
far as motorsport? I love this.
Mate, you've been involved in go-karts, yeah?
Yep.
These guys have never put a tyre on one of these. They've never had to replace a set of brake pads. The only tyres they change are the ones on the trailer, and they buy them second-hand from the wreckers. It is an incredibly cheap form of racing. I mean, yes, the initial outlay is not stupidly high. I mean, you probably buy one of these boats for $25,000, and you get a hell of a lot of boat for that sort of money. Most guys running go-karts, I don't know what the go-karts are worth to buy these days, but
about $7,000 to $8,000 ready to go.
And then you'd probably throw that at them again, racing them for the year in tyres.
So tyres and engine rebuilds, and
these guys may have 2 or 3 props. Then the props don't wear out; they just don't. So, it's probably the cheapest form of motorsport you can do, and rip a bunch of people.
Well, that's the more important thing, really, is the people.
See, look at all the dads, mate. Davey Meads rolls in.
Yeah.
We've got Darren Bride down there. We've got Glenn Seckham. He can't be bothered talking to Secco. He hasn't even got radio on. So it really is the family sport, isn't it?
It certainly is.
We've got Harry Meads down here, who's Jack's brother. He's keeping an eye on him. He'll be stepping into the boat next, no doubt. He runs in the junior categories. So that's Jack Meads now, ladies and gentlemen, as he comes past in the Bud Light. As we watch up through the top turn, the Yarrawonga 4x4 machine just going through the top turn and coming down into the pit area as well. So I think these guys are done, Vaughan.
Yeah, it looks like the Yarrawonga 4x4 boat's going to have another crack. No flags being shown down here by race control at the moment, and Jack Meads has turned around, so he may be coming to have a look and possibly going to have a crack at a wall start here, wall start.
And you probably noticed too, mate, that they seem to be running a short course, so I'm thinking that's what they're going to race on as well, which is good. The big course probably a little bit too big for these little boats, so it's good to have them running a slightly shorter course. Keeps the racing a bit tighter for them as well.
Yeah, Jack Meads has now turned around, so he is done, heading back towards the boat ramp.
Even the big boats are running this shorter course, I've just been told. Thank you. So that's going to be good. It's going to be pretty exciting, this bottom corner. We're going to have a great view of when the big boys head out there into this bottom one, and they'll be right on it. And if there is any incidents, we'll be first on the scene.
We'll be all over it. As this one just flying across the top of the water. Looks nice and stable.
They are. They're great, but that's Tyler Gilligan. So I do laugh at Tyler running around there with a Mercury on because his dad, he bleeds Evan Rood and OMC. But you know what? They closed up because they were nowhere near as good as Mercury's, and now he has to run a Merc.
White engine cow versus black engine cow?
If it's white, it ain't right, mate.
As they fly down now towards turn number 2. And being a stock motor and not being able to push them past their limits, you get a fairly good engine life out of these Mercury race engines.
I would think hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Without a teardown.
Without a teardown, yeah, I would have to think easily.
So pretty much once you've bought the boat and the motor, you're set for your F4 career, basically.
Basically you are, mate, absolutely. And hey, I mean, these are all basically kids or young adults out there running in this category, but there's no reason you and I couldn't jump in one of these, Vaughan, and go and race it. It's not a junior category, it's for anybody.
I don't want to get cleaned up by a kid.
We probably would. Maybe a bit fast for us, probably, but being our size, it'd be a good category for us, being little blokes. So Jack Mead's now just bringing the Bud Light machine in. Beautifully turned out too, aren't they? Look at the livery on these boats.
The presentation of most of the boats here this weekend is just sensational. As the Swans take a big detour to the left.
They love the racing, mate, I'm telling you.
The orange and black boat heading down into turn number 1. So that will leave the Yarrawonga, and that's Jackson Secom out there as well at the moment, with Tyler Gilligan coming around. You may notice that they're not running a circuit, they are actually running a bit of a triangle. It's a 90-degree bend.
Yep.
Over towards the other side, New South Wales side.
What they can do, mate, so with these boats, they trim them up, and you see that Yarrawonga 4x4, Tyler Gilligan got plenty of trim into the boat, and he's actually just drifting it around on its tail. So there's two ways you can attack the corners. The tighter corners, what you'll see, they'll trim the boat in, get that inside of that sharp edge of that inside sponson to hook up, and it'll just drag it around like it's on rails. They'll go around really quickly, but down this bottom turn, you can see they're all hanging them out, and they're just sliding them around without dropping the boat into the water and losing that momentum.
Trying to keep the foot into the gas as they come out of that last corner. So yellow flag on display for our remaining 2 runners here.
So we've got Wacko, Jacko, Jackson, Secco just down through the bottom turn there.
So with the AFGP guys, which are probably coming out very, very shortly, they'll pull up to 5 Gs into a corner.
Yeah, absolutely, mate, they will. And you need to be physically fit to drive those boats, because your neck cops out. They all talk about in Formula 1 cars, you know. Well, Formula 1 cars pull those sorts of Gs. These boats pull similar Gs to what those cars pull. So, you know, you need to be doing the neck exercises and the strengthening exercises. Otherwise, you know, and the AFGP races are quite long. So you're out there for quite a lot of laps, and fatigue definitely comes into it. I've spoken to a lot of the drivers, and a few of them said, hey, I'm not fit enough, you know, I'm fading away towards the end of the race meeting. So definitely an athletic sport, there's no doubt about that.
With those AFGP races, they're normally held over 13 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's a long time, because you're concentrating. You don't have a rest in these boats. Even when you're in a straight line, where if you and I were in our race cars, we could have a bit of a breather in a straight line. These guys can't, because the water is changing underneath them, wind getting under the front of the boat. You've got to be on it at all times.
Absolutely. And I just saw Michael Platts walk past, and he's just an example of the fitness level required to drive a displacement boat. He's not listening to me.
He's bought his welder with him this weekend as well.
It was hilarious, I thought, and he's not even listening to me, so wasted.
They'll have to watch the replay.
He'll hunt me down.
Tyler Gilligan bringing the Yarrawonga 4x4.
Good stuff, Tyler. So that's our F4s, guys, and we'll see some great racing.
Close, competitive racing. Can't pick a winner from practice.
Cannot, no. They all just sort of went around and did their thing, just got the laps done, and they will have been watching the RPM. You know, they'll get back into their pits, and their crew chiefs / dads will be all saying, so what RPM were you doing, and what speed did you get to, and how did it feel in the corners, and how was the trib angle? And debrief on all that stuff. They might make some changes. They might be happy. So it's just going to be about making sure these boats are right to go.